On the 11th and 12th of October 2025, I decided to take part in the Scottish C1 Cup at Knockhill for their final race of the year. But all didn't quite go to plan. Now let's take a look at the costs and see how much it actually cost me to go racing. So first of all, I needed to renew my race licence, and I did so back in February because I basically didn't have any racing plans this year. So my renewal fee was actually £115, but because I did it online, there was a handling fee of £1.95. So that means the total cost for me to renew my race licence this year was £116.95. Moving on to the track activity costs. There was a deal basically for this round, meant that it was £840 to take part in the Scottish C1 Cup. That broke down into car hire, which went towards the team, which was £500, and the entry fee, which was £340. Additionally, because the event was my first at Knockhill and I hadn't actually done any racing in a C1, I decided to take part in testing. So to explain how the event worked, qualifying session was meant to be a 12-minute session, and that was on the Saturday afternoon, and then on the Sunday would be race 1 and race 2, both of 10-lap races. In the morning on the Saturday, there was testing sessions available, so there was 2 groups, an A and a B, and both had 3 20-minute sessions. The cost to do that hour of testing was £140. So because I don't live near Knockhill, I had to hire a Airbnb. Now, we actually stayed there for a longer period of time. It was a family holiday, effectively, for the week, visiting family, etc., near Edinburgh. Actually, that cost there is £94.72, so that's actually 3 nights from that family holiday, and that is per person, so £94.72 per person for the 3 nights, which actually is not a bad deal, to be fair, because it's a very nice location. Food and drink for those 2 days that I was there cost me around £100. That's obviously breakfast, lunch, dinner, and any snacks, etc. as well. Travel fuel, so it cost me around a tank of petrol in order to get from where I live to the circuit and back, and also that includes trips between the circuit and my Airbnb. That's £70. Because, as I say, I live on a Scottish island, it does mean I need to get a ferry to get off. So the ferry cost there is £105.20p return. That means the total cost for me was £1,349.92 to actually take part in the track activity. If I wasn't living on this or remote Scottish island, that means it would be £1,244.72 for everyone that lives in a normal location. So let's take a look at the total costs. So race license, as I say, was £116.95. Track activity, £1,349.92. Means my total cost, the total amount I paid, was £1,466.87 to take part in the Scottish Motor Racing Club's Scottish C1 Cup. If I was living somewhere normal, as I say, that would have been slightly cheaper at £1,361.76. So how does that compare to the track time that I actually got? So here, obviously, as I say, the testing was 60 minutes, which is meant to be 3 20-minute sessions. The qualifying, it was due to be 12 minutes, and the 2 races, as you see there, are 10-lap races, which is about 12 minutes on circuit. Which means total expected time on circuit should have been 96 minutes. That would have given me a cost per track minute of £15.28p. If I lived somewhere normal, that would have been £14.18p per minute, which actually, in the world of motorsport, is really, really good. How does that compare to the actual? Well, the first session was red flagged midway through due to a C1 deciding to roll a few times and ended up on a tyre wall. Luckily, the driver's okay, got out, no issues. So that actually meant that we only got 15 minutes on the circuit compared to the 20 that we were due. Session 2, again, was red flagged due to a nasty accident with one of the historics. I believe the driver's okay as well. He got out, so that's really good to see. But that's 12 minutes on track compared to the 20. And then session 3 got a completely clean session, which was fantastic. And that was 22 minutes on track, which again, 2 minutes over the 20 minute I was expecting. Moving on to qualifying, again, that was slightly longer than the 12 minutes I was expecting at about 14 minutes on circuit. However, that's obviously the end of the Saturday's activity. So, however, on the Sunday, we got up, left the Airbnb and went to the circuit in bright sunshine. However, when we arrived at the circuit, it was very thick mist, and unfortunately that didn't mean that we could go racing. Come about 2 o'clock in the afternoon, they did abandon the meeting, unfortunately, which was really, really disappointing, but obviously on the ground of safety, it had to happen, which meant that there was no track time for anyone on the Sunday, so both my track minutes there are 0. That means the total time over the weekend I spent on circuit was about 63 minutes. That gave me a cost per track minute of 23.28. If I was living somewhere normal, as I say, that would have been 21.61, which actually, for motor racing, is really, really cheap. So thank you to the Scottish Motor Racing Club and Knockhill for allowing us to take part.